What is up, guys? How are we doing? Welcome back to another video from us, the Jedi in Exile. We've got, I guess, a little bit of a different one. We're kind of going a little bit more back to our roots in that some of the videos that we made to begin with were just kind of talking about our opinions on characters, Star Wars, our favourite things, the things that kind of got us into Star Wars a little bit. So today we are going to be running through our picks and discussing our picks for the top 5. We've said greatest Jedi, kind of our favorites. There'll be different reasons why they've made the list, but our top
me,
5 picks
this is a
of
Mount
Jedi.
Rushmore. This is a Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
of Jedi
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So yeah. There's obviously different attributes you can fit to them all, but we're talking all rounders. They do everything. Yeah, our greatest Jedi. So Matt, start us off. Who is your number 5?
Okay, so my number 5 is Mace Windu.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I'm putting him in there. This pick is based purely on the fact of he invented his own fighting style, so massively influential within the Jedi Order. Obviously, a member of the Jedi Council, the High Council, and also because we're talking canon, non-canon, like a little bit of everything. Just that badass scene in the animated Clone Wars, the original animated Clone Wars, where he basically fights an entire battalion of droids without a lightsaber single-handedly. So for his pure, I guess, badassery and pure strength and power, I've put Mace Windu in at number 5.
Okay, fair shout. I have also got Mace Windu in my top 5, but I won't tell you where
Okay.
yet.
Little sneaky peek.
Matthew, tell me, should we just we'll run through all of yours and then we'll go through all of mine so you can justify. So
yeah.
Talk us through number 4.
Okay, so 4, potentially
Yeah.
controversial.
Here we go.
It's your man Liam Neeson. It's Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh, Qui-Gon Jinn,
Qui-Gon Jinn making it
Yeah,
into the top 4.
I really had a struggle in my head with whether to include Qui-Gon because he's like a trendsetter really for the Jedi, isn't he? He's the first one to achieve eternal life and return from the netherworld of the Force. So no, I can understand why. I mean, I'm assuming it's the obvious reasons.
Well, it's just to do with the fact that your man was a little bit of a pioneer, let's say, within the Jedi Order. A little bit of a rebel. And obviously, he discovers the Chosen One. You can't overlook him for that. But just purely as the fact that he started to really explore that kind of the middle ground, I guess, between the Jedi Order and the Sith in regards to kind of not necessarily adhering to all of the super strict rules and believing that there was maybe a better way to find balance.
Yeah, see, Qui-Gon is like my 6th. He's
didn't make the list. Didn't make the list.
He didn't make my list, but he's
so
the
Liam
spare.
Neeson.
But
Liam
I
Neeson,
get
if
it.
you're listening, Liam Neeson, if you're listening, just remember the one that put you in their list.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him in Tales of the Jedi, maybe as an apprentice, with obviously the Dooku that's coming out end of the year. But no, I really struggled with this one whether to include Qui-Gon. I think I still maintain that if he was alive during Attack of the Clones, he would have been a separatist. I'm not saying he would have been a Sith Lord, but he would have been sympathetic the separatist cause.
Well, we just don't know what would happen. He's one of the main reasons that I want Disney to do a what if series of Star Wars, to see what could have been.
Yeah. So far we've got Mace Windu at 5, Qui-Gon at 4.
Yep.
Number 3 for you, Matthew.
So it could only be one person. Jedi Master Yoda.
Ooh, number 3, nice.
So I feel like this as an inclusion for me is based on a whole host of things. We're not going to cover all of them.
But he's got to be on a list of top 5, hasn't he? That's the thing. 100%. He's got to be somewhere.
He's been around for so long. He's so influential within the Jedi. He is
Yeah.
the one of the main parts of that kind of missing link between prequel era and then original trilogy and sequel era Jedi. The fact that he trains Luke and kind of passes that through and on, and just again, like, so surprising when we see him in the movies to see this kind of old, kind of slightly, I guess, weak looking small package of a Jedi who can actually pull his lightsaber out and spar and fight with the best of them.
Mental.
You know?
Yeah. Yoda. Listen, Yoda is on my list, and I'll tell you where shortly. But no, he's got to be on a list of top 5
Okay.
because of all that he's done. It's just the fact that he's 900 years old.
Been there, seen it all.
Exactly.
Seen the rise and fall of the Republic, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, definitely that's a key shout. Do we include Yaddle on the list though? Because
same
got to
same
be,
same
what,
sort of
like
concept.
900 years old, and yeah, if you're going to be a Jedi for that long, you're
But
going to have learned a thing or two.
wasn't there to pass the knowledge onto Luke, and
I know that's true.
as far as
Plus,
we know,
Yaddle was only like 700 years old.
and as far as we know, didn't ascend to Force Ghost.
No,
So,
that's true.
There are reasons. We love Yaddle.
No,
there is big love for Yaddle, but not making the list.
No, fair enough. Right, number
2. So coming in at 2 for me. This was a big one, but I'm gonna say it with chest.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano comes in at 2 for me.
Oh, so Ahsoka's in at number 2. So that means, can I just say, and I know we haven't got to number 1, you're either going to be leaving out Anakin Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi from your top 5 Jedi lists.
Yep, it's gonna happen.
Which is, yeah. Anyway, talk to me about Ahsoka Tano then. So you've got her you've got her more powerful than Mace Windu.
Not more powerful.
No.
Better
But
Jedi.
I mean,
better Jedi.
Better Jedi
Yeah.
than Mace Windu.
Yeah.
A better Jedi than Qui-Gon Jinn, even though she's only like 16 when she leaves the Order.
Yeah.
She's a better
Don't
Jedi
care.
than Yoda.
Wise beyond her years.
Okay.
So I'm gonna justify this because I can see you're struggling, right?
Yeah,
I can see you're struggling.
I am struggling because she's not anywhere near my list.
So some things that we need to consider. So she saw the failings of the Jedi before a lot of the incredibly senior members of the Jedi Order spotted the failings. Some of them didn't even spot the failings of the Jedi Order. Hence choosing to leave the Order.
Yeah.
She was such a key part of the rebellion and kind of driving that cause forwards from all the stuff that we see in Rebels. Huge in passing on knowledge to future generations with everything she does with Kanan, with Ezra, and we assume with kind of Grogu and Luke's setup with everything that we've seen there. But the one thing that I'm going to bring up, and this will continue through a little bit, is she managed to witness the complete and utter betrayal of her master, of the Jedi Order, the Republic, and all of the things that essentially she held dear, friends and loved ones, without turning to the dark side, which in itself is pretty impressive. The fact that you then say that she did that without ever fully becoming a fully fledged Jedi Knight or Jedi Master is even more impressive, I think.
Yeah, I get it. She's, an impressive Jedi. I don't think she's on a top 5.
Well, she is on mine.
But she is on yours, and you are entitled to your opinion, however wrong that may be. But, drum roll please, who have you got as your greatest all-rounder Jedi?
So I'm going to continue in a very similar theme and a similar vein. Top pick for me for greatest Jedi is Jedi Master and General Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's Obi-Wan Kenobi!
Yeah. So...
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say you don't believe that Anakin Skywalker, and let's take him as Anakin.
Turn to the dark side, right? so
is
easily,
okay.
super
Okay.
easily
Okay.
manipulated and turned to the dark
Well,
side.
I'd say the
Don't,
fact that he wanted to save his wife and kids, might have
but was manipulated into
played a
that.
part in all that. Mm,
Manipulated into all of that, in
okay.
my
Okay.
opinion.
Well,
In my
okay.
opinion.
So Obi-Wan's number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me. What is the reasoning behind
So
Obi-Wan?
I'm going out there with my one main reason, because
Yeah.
there are so many and we could be here for hours, right? But my one main reason is very similar to Ahsoka, which is why actually, and this is probably going to hurt you even more, mate, it was very close between the two of them for me.
Yeah.
Is the fact that he's seen his Padawan, the person that he was entrusted to instruct and nurture and look after, turn to the dark side, completely eradicate the Jedi Order, like
Yeah.
do these horrendous things. He witnessed uh, the love of his life that he, by his own admission, would have left the Jedi Order for,
Mhm.
murdered in front of him
Mhm.
by somebody who repeatedly was there causing issues for him.
Mhm.
Went through all of that. Didn't even get close to turning. Didn't even contemplate turning. We've never seen him kind of behave in a way that would suggest that he's ever flirted with the dark side. And that for me is the main reason that he is the greatest Jedi. He's held
Hey,
fast
listen,
through all of that.
I love Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's my favorite character in all of Star Wars. People know that. I, yeah, I'm struggling with your list, Matt. I'll be honest. So run through it for me again. Number
Okay, so
five.
Mace
Number
Windu.
five was Mace Windu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number four,
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon. Yeah. Number three was Yoda.
Yoda.
Two was Ahsoka,
Yeah.
and one was Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, out of your five, I do have two of them.
Okay.
I've got Windu and Yoda on my list.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Oh,
start at
so
five.
no Obi-Wan. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I'm
get
gonna
into it.
start. I'm gonna start at five, and I'm going with Luke Skywalker.
Okay. Stock.
Yeah, so I feel like, and listen, my list isn't really going to have too many surprises, because there's obviously thousands and thousands of Jedi, and we only know about 10 of them. So, well, we know 10 of them well enough to be able to do a top five list. So, yeah, I've gone Luke Skywalker number five. The fact that he's basically 19, 20 when he starts to learn about the Force. 5 years later, he's basically a Jedi Master. He's clearly got great innate skill. He reforms the Jedi Order, whether you want to go canon, non-canon. Um, he revamps the Jedi Order in non-canon, um, and makes them even stronger. Um, in canon, clearly he builds up. I know what happens later on with Kylo, but I suppose some of that wasn't his fault, some of it was. He's just a powerful Jedi to have been in a room. And I'm reading some of the old non canon books, the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and Luke Skywalker's like a bit of a myth because, as far as anyone's concerned, he walks into a room with Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, and he's the only one who walks out alive. Like that. And people don't know that Vader, killed the Emperor. People think that Luke somehow managed to defeat both of them. He turned Vader, who, let's face it, and we now know how hard that was to turn Vader back to the light because of how entrenched in the dark side we see Vader in the new Kenobi series now. So before this Kenobi series, the people I think were kind of like, well, yeah, it's his son, so of course he was gonna turn back to the light. The Vader we see in Kenobi, if he sees Luke, he's killing him because he sees him as just a force sensitive threat. So for me, Luke Skywalker is
Right.
number five.
I
I could
disagree with
have
the
him
comment you've
higher.
just made, but I'll let it slide.
Okay. Well, I think Vader would have no hesitation in killing him. I
I
think that's why they hide him from the Emperor and Luke
Mate,
and Vader.
I don't think they would kill him. I think he would have tried to do what he tried to do in the original
Empire.
trilogy and turn him.
Mm.
We know that family is essentially everything to him, which is why he turned in the first place. So,
Yeah.
but I take your point.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I disagree, but whatever.
hit me with
So
number
number
four. Hit
five.
me with number four.
Number five is Luke Skywalker. Number four. is Yoda for me.
Good choice.
So Grandmaster Yoda. We've gone through the reasons why he's on our list. He's number 4 for me. He was number 3 for you. He's the Grandmaster. He sees it all. The one thing I will say is his visions are always clouded by the dark side. He's not quite powerful enough, and there's a lot of mistakes he makes towards the end of Clone Wars that he knows about the creation of the army. He knows about Cypher Diaz. It's There's a lot that he lets slide, but he is the person, like you said, who passes the knowledge on, make sure that the Jedi have a line in Luke that they can continue. So number 4 for me is Yoda.
Okay.
Number 3 is somebody who we haven't spoken about yet, and number 3 for me is Revan.
Okay.
Now, I know that maybe I'm talking about Revan as a Jedi. Forget about when he turns and becomes a Sith, because we know he turns back to the light.
Well,
Um, well, yeah, he has his memory wiped, and then
but also,
basically,
but depends on it depends on your playthrough, right?
yes, yeah, absolutely. However, I still feel like of his generation and that era, the only one that comes close to him is his apprentice Malik, and obviously Revan defeats Malik. So Revan for me is incredibly strong. He's also one of the other Jedi that has a purple lightsaber. So we know he obviously flirted with the dark side before actually falling, because that's how a Jedi gets a purple lightsaber. Um, because the crystal is warped with parts of the dark side. They take the energy off who they're fighting and they use that to strengthen themselves. So yeah, Revan for me is a very, very powerful Jedi. He turns back. He saves the Republic after kind of destroying it, but we'll leave that to one side. So yeah, number 3 for me is Revan.
Okay, good choice.
Number 2 is the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker, because again, I feel like it's not really portrayed in the movies. And it is portrayed in Clone Wars, but it's portrayed a lot in the books. Anakin Skywalker is a celebrity because of how good he is, how powerful he is as a Jedi. So there's so much I could say about Anakin. The fact that he was the chosen one, so he had that pressure on him. The fact that he started training at like 10 years old and becomes, and the Order admit it themselves, he becomes too powerful almost for his own good, which can make him cocky, arrogant. He's a fantastic pilot. He can do everything. And yes, of course, he then turns to Vader. So when you're talking about kind of greatest Jedi, does he fit in with that? Almost like Revan. But for me, he is the second greatest Jedi that the Order has as an all rounder.
Hey, listen, you're entitled to your opinion. I left him and Revan out of my list because I considered putting Revan in as well, and I discounted them both for the fact that they turned. Obviously, the theme through my list was very much a case of people that resisted turning. So, hey, totally get it. I understand why he's up there, and I think he would probably make most people's lists, to be fair. So,
Yeah.
I get it. So, hit me with the big one, because I am
Well,
slightly concerned now.
well, my number 1, you've already mentioned him, and you put him at number 5. My number 1 is Mace Windu, because there's just a few things when I was going through making this list, what I was thinking about. Stop shaking your head. Mace Windu was the youngest member of the Jedi Council in history before Anakin, but Anakin is like appointed by the Chancellor. He's on the council at like 13. He The book Shatterpoint, which is one of the non-canon books. There were 6 books about the Clone Wars following different Jedi. Mace Windu's apprentice turns to the dark side, and he has to see her go through that. He goes to try and rescue her and turn her back to the light, but she's gone. He then has to fight his own brother, who's force sensitive, on his home planet. He defeats Sidious. I don't think people forget it, but
It's
he duels with
skirted over,
Sidious.
isn't it? Because of what happens
Yeah,
straight after.
absolutely. Yeah, if it wasn't for Anakin, Mace Windu defeated the most powerful Sith Lord since probably Bane. So he's an accomplished duelist. He's one of the top 3, if you like, on the Jedi Council. He's the youngest member on the Jedi Council. He flirts with the dark side, but doesn't fall to the dark side. So when you talk about like the whole Jedi, not falling to the dark side, he fits in that because his fighting style, he leans into that passion, that you know, it just the whole thing about the dark side with him falling into that when he's fighting. For me, he's the most powerful. He's the greatest Jedi. Yeah, he's everything about the Jedi, because and a big reason for that is he does defeat Sidious. And if it wasn't for Anakin chopping his hand off, then he'd be alive and he would have, ended the whole grand plan of getting rid of the Jedi.
Before it had
So
begun.
yeah, absolutely. And we don't. It's a shame we don't see as much of him in the Clone Wars series actually as what we maybe should do. Um, so yeah, for me, Mace Windu is number one.
Okay, so super quick recap. You had Luke Skywalker at 5,
Yeah, I did
Yoda
indeed.
Yoda at 4,
Yep.
Revan at 3,
Yep.
Anakin at 2,
Yep.
and Samuel L. Jackson, Big Mace Windu, at number
Yeah.
1.
And shout outs to Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan because I really struggled not putting them in. But it's a top 5, not a top 7.
Yeah, well, you have to be ruthless.
And Dooku as well. After reading the canon book Dooku Jedi Lost, I realised how good, how strong, how and he when you talk about all rounders, he is an all rounder because he was one of the greatest lightsaber duelists that the Order had ever
Strong with
seen.
the Force.
His diplomacy, strength of the Force, he was the all round package.
The poster boy of the Jedi Order.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, he's one of the 20 to have left. But I was trying to think like in a duel, and that's kind of what it bear down for with me was as much as you can be a great Jedi, you've got to also be a great duelist. He didn't beat Anakin in a duel, so that's why Anakin had to go ahead of him. He didn't really defeat Yoda. I don't think he'd have beaten Luke. I feel like Luke in Return of the Jedi he might have beat, but Luke in The Mandalorian I don't think he would have beaten. So that's why I couldn't put him above those
No, that's fair
people on
enough.
my
That's
list.
fair enough. I think
So honourable
I
mentions.
think obviously there's a little bit of crossover on our lists, and I think between our 10 picks, if you want to call it that, I think we've covered most bases for people that would get put in the list. So I think we've done a good job. You guys let us know down below if you think that we've missed anybody, or if there's anybody glaringly obvious that you would have put in your list, or anybody that you massively disagree with. I know Brian struggled with me putting Ahsoka in my list, let alone at number 2. So maybe you're part of that club. Maybe you're an Ahsoka lover like me. Who knows? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, guys, remember to smash that like button if you've enjoyed the content. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content coming out. We've got lots of cool, exciting videos coming your way real soon.
Sure have.
And all that is left to say, guys, is we'll see you all real soon in the next one.
May the force be with you all.